Come on, come on. All right. Coming to you on 8/4 2026 from Salida, Colorado. This is an update. So, the first thing that I'm going to say, I haven't counted the days, how long it's been gone. Probably 8 days. The cat's been gone about 8 days. So, I left notes around the Safeway, which is about a third of the mile from the river. And I know I did see a black cat when I was by the river at the bench there across from Pizza Rio. So, if the cat left, the cat left. And so, I've been working on uh, coping with that. So we're going to talk about that because I am shooting video with my handy cam and I am shooting video with a cell phone, but I'm trying not to be on the cell phone. And this time around, where I'm camping in that region, which is an hour from here, I'm not going anymore to their cloud station. I'm not going to their town east park. Um, I can basically, with my own solar panels, power the computer. Although I'm not doing a lot of heavy work or writing right now, but I am getting back into writing by hand and reading, and that's very important to be able to absorb deep concepts in nature. It's not really important for me to be super productive, but coming up in the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna have my passwords back from Angelus in Texas. I'm really gonna try to move quickly here today and talk about some things that I'm trying to do this week as opposed to last week. So I have a no contact policy with the public at this point. People are too brainwashed. We are in a real life zombie apocalypse. People are turning into evil incarnate. And if I'm too vocal about what I know, all it results in right now is attack, basically, because our world is falling to the point where rationalizing with them cannot be done. You have to create distance from yourself. Now, let me talk about the campsite, because here I'm dealing with people that have the devil in them while they're camping, screaming, shouting. So there's a guy up there who's been up there for a number of years, using him as a example, and then moving on quickly. He can have an interesting personality 1 minute, and then another he could be screaming about how he's cold and how he's hungry, but he's responsible also for, I don't know, maintaining a certain level of sanity to be able to meet his basic needs. Did somebody steal his stuff yesterday? I don't know. That'd be pretty messed up. He didn't really have that much stuff. Maybe he should be a little bit like, he's been up there for years. When he does a lot of yelling, but he's not the only one. I also have done some yelling. It seems like I was doing a fair amount of screaming about, oh, you could probably guess. And so I have those recordings on my phone, and I'll get to that later. What's most important though is that I detox from these experiences that I've been having since forever. It's not a new thing. I'm a little distracted by this person doing circles in the parking lot behind his head because he's got a really cool camper. Um, this is not this is not a sport to me. And then a lot of people joke about how people think it's really cool when they meet someone who's a recreational camper, like, "Oh, where are you from? Oh, wow, are you like on a expedition?" And then when they find out that someone has been thrust into that lifestyle for real, I'm looking outside right now, by the way. I'm looking outside, and apparently I drove the whole way here with that symbol painted on the back of my vehicle. What the fuck? What I can tell you is there's a lot of synchronicities of positivity, where I still have my stuff. There isn't a major incident happening with the alcoholics that are on the campsite next, but that's pretty much the modus operandi with people like that. People like that can't handle my energy. They start flipping out. They start losing control of themselves. They start creating a problem when those spirits get in their body. And so, what I know is that they weren't good for me to be around, and that if I had not had that encounter with those horrible people, I wouldn't feel I felt rushed back to Salida, and the cat wouldn't have ran out of the vehicle. But the way that I'm rationalizing it is that Salida is probably a better environment for the cat. I haven't even had my coffee yet, so I'm actually like still very tired. Salida is a better environment for the cat if it finds like some women to take care of it, because I knew that it's always really what it wanted. is to have some human females care for it. But since human females don't care for me, how could they get close to the cat unless they get rid of me? Then they have the cat. And then with the cat, this is the most important thing, with its powerful aura, it's only not powerful because of me, because it's been around me, because it's been exposed to all these podcasts, because it's been exposed to all these beautiful places. Now its aura is charged up, and they can move on together. The cat can leave me like every other woman has left me in my life. Now, on that note, in this time period of this happening, I'm trying to pull back from the newsletter because it hurts that the world doesn't care. And in fact, I probably should pull my mother off the newsletter because there's nothing that there's no rationalizing with people. Once they've abused you, there's no amount of podcasts or blogs that's going to intellectually rationalize with them that the shit's hitting the fan. And they're an example of what's wrong with the world and why. Like from stealing the kids to not wanting to work to chasing all things dance to chasing the bad boy, actual gangsters who could have got me in trouble. It never ends with this lady. And apparently it never ends with these ladies either in Salida, Colorado. Why is this guy doing circles? I got it. You have a cool shed and you've driven around 10 times now. I've got it. The nerve of some of these people. But, anyways, and so I had maybe 5 days out there, one more night, 5 days out there. I won't act like I'm banned. They never came up and messed with me. What they did is they made the false call on the cops on me, and I had to deal with the Swatch County Police. And that really upset me, the point where I called their dispatcher and gave them politely a piece of my mind about professionalism. I have done nothing wrong. And if I feel like screaming and shouting and telling someone to F off, if they're in my space, I'm going to, because this is America. And it's amazing how in just a few years they're acting like we're a whole different place without rights, without rules and regulations, where the lawless authoritarians can excommunicate any man they want to just because they don't like their face. And so police and law enforcement need to get together. They're being sent on wild goose chases all the time. And right now, hi. Hello. They're nicer to me at McDonald's, guys, and they're usually not leftist looking than they are anywhere else. That's why I come here. But if I insert myself into the I'm tired of repeating myself on this one. The blue-haired LGBT matrix are one of the coffee shops in downtown. The energies are going to get real weird. You know what I mean? They just don't want me there in their LGBT complex matrix. So when I go out into the wilderness, I'm navigating. I'm practicing evasion. I'm practicing meditation. I'm practicing reading. I'm practicing writing. I'm practicing prayer. I'm getting in the river, at least the feet. So I'm having interesting conversations with these people. But in the end, I've come to realize that they're pulling me down. They're a weight, essentially. They're pulling me down. They're a weight. They're a distraction. And if you're around a group where there's drinking going on or drugs going on or psychedelics going on, then there could be unsettled spirits. And what I'll notice is I'll get myself distance from them and I'll see what it feels like. I'll see what it feels like 300 feet from a person, first 100 feet from a person, then 50 feet, and then it is real when you're an empath and you got people around you, or if you're on a campsite and there are people that are coming and going, with the Punisher logo, and they're basically radiating these toxic thoughts. It doesn't feel very fun. Nor doesn't the coffee could be fantastic, but the coffee's not going to go down well if the people in the cloud station are bigot white supremacists, rednecks, who aren't real men, who have to carry guns to feel confident, to feel like they are somebody. Now let's go over to Colorado Dreaming and take a look at our latest metrics. I'm sure somebody subscribed since last time. Of course they have. And I can probably guess who it is. Okay. So just don't mind me. We're just taking a little bit of a station break. So one of the goals that I have for the day, just so you know, is to not spend a lot of time on the internet. I see how people will avoid some of my more, what they might perceive to be uh, controversial statements and opinions. So there is definitely a psychic back and forth with people that are on the newsletter. And so what I'm going to be doing right now, even though I'm recording this video now just to release the energy, is I'm actually going to take off from uploading so much. And what we'll do is I'll take a look at the newsletter and I'll take a look at who is subscribing versus unsubscribing. And then it looks like this one I narrowed down pretty quickly to the director of the Crestone Eagle. The director of the Crestone Eagle is not interested in this newsletter. And for the most part, a lot of people in Crestone are not. They definitely have like basically a cult like thing behind them and about them, in case you did not know that. So you have the insiders, then you have the outsiders. And it actually is going to be more pronounced over race in reality, but that does not mean that I'm the only one. That does not mean that I'm the only one that's been through that. So director at Crestone Eagle bailed, but we have to look at the reality that they are a low quality viewer, right? So not everybody's worth reaching right now, talking to. Anyways, we have a sun coming up just now, the second. Um, there is also the conversation regarding, of course, the internet, stepping back from the internet. Okay, so that's done. Okay, we're 13 minutes into this. I normally don't take breaks like this, folks, like I just did, and start looking at other stuff. But it's a quiet McDonald's here. The sun is rising. So, yeah, I'm going to get over the cat loss because I hung out for days and days and days and days. Okay, and that's all I can do. And today was to get online and write down some phone numbers that I needed and to not jump into a behavior of just getting back online and doing a bunch of stuff just because I'm in Salida. No, I can easily, if I want to, create some content from the campsite, right? And of course, create it from there, from the place in nature, from the place by the river, so on and so forth, and then take off when it's time or go upload when it's time. Are there any questions? I'm going to go in the stream now.